bit misty-eyed as the Pirates will not be going to the postseason for the 4th consecutive year. Here tonight, we've got baseball for you. It's the Pirates and the Cubs here from PNC Park. And welcome into the booth. Joe Block and Steve Blass with you here this evening. And yeah, sad news. The Pirates are not going to be going to the postseason. They're not going to be playing on in October. But we have seen a lot of bright spots so far this season. And one is on the mound tonight, and that is rookie right-hander Jameson Taillon.
Yeah, Joe, he's been fun to watch. Watching him grow up as a major league pitcher. We heard so much about him, ballyhooed. He was going to be a top prospect. He was that, and we were wondering what we're going to see. Well, we like what we have seen so far, the great control, the great curveball, a couple of fastballs that he's really gained confidence in. He's working hard to be better with the bat, field his position. So his composure has been very, very impressive, and I think we're just seeing the beginnings of a very, very good major league pitcher. And tonight, I think he's going to be pretty revved up because he's going against one of the best. And I think Jameson Taillon likes the action. He likes this kind of matchup. So I'm looking forward to seeing him work tonight.
Yeah, me too. You know, if you like pitching, Jake Arrieta, one of the best, but the Pirates have been able to handle him, especially the last 2 times that they faced him.
Yep, last time out very good against the Cardinals, but basically 2 starts, 12 innings, 12 earned runs given up with a bunch of home runs, 4 home runs given up. He's been very good here in this ballpark. So yeah, we beat him up a little bit, but take nothing away from Jake Arrieta. He's one of the best, so he could come back and be very, very good. But this should be a good pitching matchup tonight. Arrieta and our man, Jameson Taillon.
Looking forward to it. It is the Pirates and the Cubs coming up next, right here on Root Sports.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All, and by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks!
And a nice night here, early fall on the banks of the Allegheny. As we continue this series, the Pirates dropping the first 2 to these Cubs, who have had a one-sided affair, but Jameson Taillon Has pitched well, not only against the Cubs, but against everybody so far this season.
Yeah, he's only won 4 games, but this is his first year. Rookie right-hand pitcher, getting his feet wet at the major league level, seeing major league hitters consistently, and I think he's held his own. And we just look forward to this being the foundation for what we expect him to be like, not only 2017, but as he goes along his major league career.
And with 5 games left of the season, that'll be his final start of the year. Here's the lineup that he'll face as the Cubs bring you the Honda lineup here as Dexter Fowler starts things off with Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo both in the lineup. Ben Zobrist cleans up in front of Jason Hayward, who's hitting .380 against the Pirates. Addison Russell, Chris Coughlin, and then the battery Miguel Montero catching Jake Arrieta.
Pretty good tandem right there.
Yeah, both in the lineup tonight.
And Hyundai numbers for Jameson Taillon, making start number 18. The rest of the figures. And I like the fact that he's pitching against his ball club because I want to see what he does against the best. And he wants to find out how he's going to be against the best. And this is a very, very good lineup. Obviously, they have the best record in Major League Baseball. They've also got perhaps arguably the best pitching staff, but that's not his concern. He's going to be facing some very, very good hitters, so we'll see how it goes for him tonight.
And the Honda defense behind Taillon tonight is Matt Joyce out there in left field. No Polanco tonight. Andrew McCutchen and Josh Bell out there as well. Freese, Rodriguez, Frazier, and Jaso with Eric Fryer doing the catching. Clint Hurdle saying that we'll probably see very little of Francisco Cervelli the rest of the way with that hand concern. Same thing with Jordy Mercer and that forearm injury that he's been dealing with as the Pirates officially eliminated from postseason. Now those guys banged up. We'll see little, if any, playing time here in the final 5 games.
Here we go for number 50, Jameson Taillon, and that big number. 1 start against the Chicago Cubs. He won 4 innings, gave up 4 runs on 8 hits. They knocked him around a little bit, so he's probably looking for a little payback.
And just when he was coming up to the major leagues.
And the control is still phenomenal. He's made 17 starts. He's walked 13 batters. Now that's obscene. That's obscenely wonderful.
You talk about where that sits. It's been very, very good. Not walking batters. I mean, you think about how a rookie pitcher, what are they known for? They're known for wildness, right?
Yep.
Almost every rookie pitcher, but Taillon the opposite of that. 4th best in baseball with his walk rate.
There's a strike. It's not the strike he wants because that is right in the middle of the strike zone. That's that hitting zone. You want him to be, as he matures as a major league pitcher, effectively wild at times by design. Only when he's trying to be.
Hard hit, but snared by Jaso. 1 out. Fowler is gone on that nice play by John Jaso. Let's look at our Rivers Casino tips to win.
Jameson Taillon continues to grow, and this is all part of his evolving into what we hope he's going to be, and continue hitting the ball out of the ballpark against Jake Arrieta. It's going to be a tough task for anybody to get the ball out of this ballpark tonight because conditions are not like they usually are. There's a strong wind, but usually it's blowing out. I think the majority of the time. Not the case tonight.
Sean Rodriguez has homered off Arrieta this season. Chris Bryant against Taillon, who not only is 4th, has the 4th best walk rate among anybody with as many innings this year. 4th best all time, well, at least since 1901 for rookies. You think about how tough that is to do.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rookies. Nice changeup thrown there by Jameson. Get out in front, 0-2. And then the good Jameson Taillon curveball. Very nice start. You know, I've always loved his curveball, but I had him in an interview a couple of days ago as you watch this really good hook, nowhere near a strike, and you see that Bryant can't lay off it. Similar to the one we saw him throw to Ryan Braun way back in the World Baseball Classic when we didn't know much about him. But he's also really working hard to be consistent with what he wants to do with his fastball. And there's the breeze we talked about blowing straight in. So you've got to get all of it to get it out of this ballpark tonight. and it is a sizable breeze.
Anthony Rizzo, after Bryant, 39 home runs. Rizzo with 31. It's the top duo for the Cubs.
Interesting to watch Taillon against Rizzo, because Rizzo, without making a lot of noise, is intimidating. He's right up on top of the plate. He's daring you to come inside because he's protecting his outside corner. And let's see where Fryer sets up, because you've got to go and keep him honest, and not going there this time, but gets the ground ball, foul ball. So yeah, for a young pitcher, this guy is taking your space away from you, that outside part of the plate. And that's what I was talking about when effectively wild. Every once in a while, you got to move him off the plate, and he expects it. He knows it's going to happen, and if you don't do it, you're playing into his hand.
And hit with a pitch 16 times this year, and Rizzo hit 30 times last season.
Now, so far, he's stayed away from him. Let's see if Eric Fryer, now that it's a two-strike situation, if they try to get in on the hands, you'll know what they're going to do with Fryer, the way he moves. Now they want to stay with the curveball.
Well, I'm interested to see how he does, talking about Taillon, against Rizzo tonight and the other lefties that are in this Cubs lineup, because he was so good against lefties in the minor leagues. And that's probably, if there isn't much to critique Taillon about, but lefties have hit him better than righties, as you would expect. But he was able to really neutralize lefties in the minor leagues. 148 against them, and now 280 is what they hit coming into tonight against him.
He fouled that ball off. Rizzo did on a pitch that was about a foot outside. Because he's up on the plate, he can foul that off. You would expect him to take that pitch. Nowhere near the strike zone, but he still was protecting the at bat.
Two hit high to right, and Bell was going to try to play it off the wall, and it just sneaks over for Rizzo's 32nd home run.
And that was a high inside delivery in the strike zone, and Rizzo can turn on that ball, and that's his ability. He's able to protect that inside part of the plate, protects the outside, and he can turn on something inside. So he didn't get it far enough in. It was on the inside corner. With Rizzo, you've got to get it further in than the inside corner.
Fighting that wind, the ball ended up moving toward the line.
Yeah, it was not pushing the ball directly in toward home plate, but kind of over
the umpires
the right field foul pole.
The umpires are going to see if there was a fan reaching over here. Let's find out.
Not quite. See, he can handle that pitch on the inside corner. Further in, he might get it some action.
Well,
yeah,
the fan definitely touched the ball, but it's not coming back.
About 85 on the radar gun.
Kilometers. Find out if they could see anything here. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if you can really tell if his hands were over or not, but he definitely touched the ball. Fans are entitled to grab a ball that goes into the seats, but they cannot go over the boundary to do so. Another look here. Oh, well, now that one, well, yeah, that kind of looks like he did.
Well, I don't speculate anymore. This craziness.
Yeah, he's standing right up against that railing, and he reached his arms out. So there's not enough to change it on this crew chief review, but pretty sure that fan there made a double into a home run.
Number 32 and number 13 given up by Jamison. Part of the education.
Somewhere Jeffrey Mayer smiles. Here's Ben Zobrist. Well, that's the precise reason, Steve, why at the Cubs home ballpark they have those baskets on the walls there. So there's no way for the fans to influence a home run. That's most ballparks, though, are like here at PNC Park, where fans can get right up against the wall.
Well, this is a lot of vulnerabilities all the way around. Fans can be involved except for straightaway center field in the bullpen areas. Fans can get involved everywhere in this ballpark.
I think tonight is zombie night, so maybe that guy was just in a trance or something and didn't realize what was happening. That's why we see some of the folks dressed up tonight.
Yeah, but you would think, you know, it's not dark yet. They're not out of the box. But some of them have gotten out early. There it is. The Jamison pile.
So the Cubs will start with the lead on the Rizzo home run, and the Pirates get their chance to bat. In the top of the first, giving the Cubs an early advantage. And the RAV4 lineup for the Pirates tonight. Adam Frazier will start things. Josh Bell, who has homered off Jake Arrieta to follow. McCutchen and then Matt Joyce in the middle with Sean Rodriguez, John Jaso, David Freese batting seventh. And then the battery of Eric Fryer and Jamison Tayo.
They'll be working against 30-year-old right-hander Jake Arrieta, 6'4", 225 out of Farmington, Missouri. 18-7, start number 31. Once again, he's been very good. 192 innings, 186 strikeouts. Opponents batting average 186. Career-wise, 9-2 against the Pittsburgh Pirates in 14 previous starts. And that familiar kind of cross-the-body delivery of Jake Arrieta. One of the great trades in Major League history, getting Jake Arrieta from the Baltimore Orioles. Jake Arrieta was a journeyman pitcher. He'd won 10 games for them one year. That's about all. Came over, promptly went 10-5 in 2014 after the trade, 22-6 last year, and 18-7 this year. Thank you very much.
It was a heist, to be sure. Frazier is aboard.
So again, the Pirates knocked him around last two starts, 6 earned runs in each of those last 2 starts against the Pirates.
So Frazier with good speed on. Let's look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. And Gregory Polanco back out of the lineup tonight with a stiff neck. He collided with the wall trying to haul in a Bryce Harper double on Friday. Finally got back to the lineup, and then yesterday ran into the wall in foul ground in left field to make a catch. Miguel Montero, so not sure if that had anything to do with it, but reasonable to think so. Josh Bell homered off Arrieta last time. And he's faced him 2 for 2 now with a home run against Arrieta.
I think you were mentioning before the game that the pitchers will have to keep track of potential base stealers because the catchers don't have gaudy numbers of throwing out base stealers.
Well, it looks like Frazier was out there, but the Cubs are not going to challenge. Well, Joe Madden has said that he's going to treat these games like spring training games, and there are no replays in spring training, so.
Oh, that's next. Take a look at this. The hand. Oh, that might have been 2 outs here in the top of the first, maybe 2 pickoffs.
Well,
here we are.
Yeah. Cubs are not going to challenge either one of them. Just like the olden days.
A wake-up call for Montero back at home plate with that foul ball.
We're talking about Montero. He throws out 8% of attempted base stealers. Eric Fryer 6. So
could be a running night.
Yeah, I mean, some of that, you know, obviously the pitcher has a lot to do with that. But once you start seeing them this time of year with the cumulative numbers, you can start to draw some conclusions. So yeah, we'll probably see a few guys go tonight, and Frazier's always one of those.
Yeah.
That's a candidate.
I would think on the Cubs side, why risk any potential ankle sprains or issues at second base? Well, I don't think they have any real incentive to. I mean, they're going to play hard, but they don't need to go into risk areas. I don't believe. No.
And they don't have any big base stealers. It's not like they have a guy that needs to practice stealing bases, so to speak, to stay sharp with that or anything. Frazier back in.
They want a piece of Frazier. I know that.
Down he goes again. Keep throwing over to him.
So he's Frazier's 2-1 now. 2 pickoffs to 1 safe.
They say cats have 9 lives. Frazier has at least 2 so far, or 3.
Did you get a credit for being really safe that last time?
Still getting a big lead over there. And Bell very customarily just hits it out to left field. Such a smooth swing out there to left.
Why don't we do this all night? 2 opposite field singles. Action the bottom of the first inning.
Pirates picking up where they left off against Jake Arrieta.
Kind of a cutter spin. Just serving it out there. Nice at bat. Nice at bat.
Well, the Pirates have been Arrieta's kryptonite. The last 2 times he's faced him, Pirates have gotten 6 earned runs in each start against Arrieta. He has only done that twice in his last 67 starts, both times against the Pirates this season.
Must be because we used to see him a lot in spring training when Baltimore would come over to McKechnie Field, or we'd go over to Sarasota and play the Orioles who trained there.
Well, it has changed very quickly because Arrieta, as we know, for most of a year and a half was utterly dominant, almost nothing against him. And then for whatever reason, these last 2 times around, Pirates have figured him out. See if they can get on the board after Rizzo's first inning home run.
Umpires for tonight's game behind the plate: Chris Guccione, crew chief Brian Gorman at first, Mark Carlson second, Quinn Walcott at third.
Gets away from Montero, and Frazier will move up.
And once again, like we saw last night, a trailing runner does not. Saw that with Andrew McCutchen last night, but good reactions by Adam Frazier, and that's a gut feel. That ball right there. Now you see, bang! You can't even take time to think about it. That's that baseball instinct. go. And good reactions from Adams.
So runners at the corners. Yeah, usually you see that trailing runner go because it's a longer throw for the catcher, right?
Yep. But again, you can't linger. If you don't have that gut feel to go right away, you can't go. It's too late if you take a lot of time to think. You're exactly right. You usually want that trail runner to trail over to second base.
And now a double play.
This is what we did last night. Set up an inning nicely and got a run out of it. I think early in the ball game, that one run, and then it cleaned everything up.
Well, Bell had decided to go there. I mean, I can't tell you he'd be safe, but if he was standing at second base, there's no opportunity for that double play. But the Pirates do get a run, and so that's a good start. Negating the Rizzo home run. No run batted in for McCutchen. And now Matt Joyce starting to come alive again after prolonged downturn at the plate. Last few days is swinging the bat well. And has swung it well in his career against Arrieta. Not a lot of guys could say that.
Really?
Well, at least not lately. Cubs Arrieta. 7 for 20 with a home run. And Arrieta continuing to argue with Chris Guccione, the home plate umpire. And they better be careful right here. They might lose their pitcher. Where was that last pitch? I mean, that Arrieta hot enough to argue from the mound on it.
Well, you know, you're not going to get all of them, Jake. That was a strike. Didn't get it. On we go. It's a strike. Yep.
Didn't get that one either.
And that was a strike. So that's one of the reasons, and I won't say it's a definitive thing, but you start barking an umpire, you might not get calls. And that's just the way it is, whether it's right or wrong.
Well, the human element.
I found in 10 years it was not a good policy to start screaming at the umpires about calls. I mean, you can make a reaction, but then you let it go.
Montero trying to calm down Arrieta.
I don't know if that was a little gesture to tell Montero to go back behind the plate or just thanks for coming out, like a little acknowledgement tap.
Guccione in his 8th season, so no newbie behind the plate.
Now, see how it evens out? There's a pitch way off the plate, but you get a guy to swing and miss at it. So everything's even, Jake.
270 for Rodriguez. That average keeps climbing. 18 home runs. And for Rodriguez, already with more home runs this year than he had runs batted in last year. 17 RBIs all of last year. More than triple that total this year. Arrieta gets him on 3 strikes. Pirates get the equalizer though. Through an inning, they're tied at 1. It's Night of the Living Dead. Zombie night here at PNC Park. A little warm up for Halloween. Ooh.
Good evening.
And even the zombie parrot. Wow. Rough night.
Traffic was tough getting to the ballpark.
I tell you,
keep your eye on the ball.
Ball on your eye. In that case.
Good outfits.
I tell you, some folks can do some really good makeup. Wow.
I'll tell you, they get into it around Halloween with the stuff they do.
Ghastly. I like those shirts too. James Tyone allowing the home run to Rizzo in the first.
Last two starts for Jamison, 5 innings each time out, giving up 3 runs each time out. So 10 innings, 6 runs, 15 hits. So numbers he wouldn't be very proud of, but that's where they are.
And a rare walk.
That's a headline.
And deposits now being accepted, so you can get on board as a Pirates season ticket member in 2017. Personalize your membership and lock in the best seats to all the games at PNC Park. Plus, you get VIP benefits, including special events, discounts, and ticket exchange privileges. So go to pirates.com/2017. Get yourself a book of those for next year. Announced today. Sorry, Steve. They announced today that the Pirates will be playing the Blue Jays in exhibition play, the final 2 games in Montreal. They'll be playing at Olympic Stadium, former home of the Expos. That, of course, not part of the season ticket package. That's spring training on the road, but kind of neat as we already do have the regular season schedule for next year.
And what a fit this young man at the plate has been for the Chicago Cubs. This shortstop, Addison Russell, 94 RBIs. That is superb production. As he goes after a pitch that he not only could do nothing with, but almost sprained an ankle. That's the Jamison Tyone sinking fastball with a lot of speed. He's got a rising fastball with a lot of speed.
Rodriguez takes care of it. Really tied up Russell. Let's look now at our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball, and some news out of Chicago today as the Cubs extending the contract of President Theo Epstein, and the 5-year extension came to the Cubs on a 5-year deal that was about to expire, and so
gee, what a surprise, huh?
Yeah. In my view, a guy who, especially if the Cubs ever win a World Series, would be a Hall of Famer. The way that he produced all those Red Sox winners and then started fresh again, and then one more before the curtain came down and Epstein went to Chicago.
I've liked everything I've seen from Jamison except one pitch so far when he didn't get the ball in far enough on Rizzo.
Which has been said by a lot of especially right-handed pitchers.
Yeah.
I'm curious to watch him against the lefties tonight. See if he can get the ball in on him. That's something that Tyone has talked about trying to improve upon. You know, he's looking at a bunch of different things. You know, the results have been there, but okay, now let's refine. Let's get better. That's what he's interested in, and getting the ball in consistently for strikes or for quality pitches into lefties is one of the points he'd like to improve on.
Well, it's the old theory. You know, you work so hard to get to to the big leagues. Now you want to find out how good a big leaguer you can be. You're not just satisfied to get here. And he's got to find a way. See, there's so much, there's very little room for Rizzo. Now other left-handers, he's got a little more room inside, but Rizzo, very little room for mistakes, because if he goes too far in, he'll hit him. And Rizzo can turn on that inside ball. We just got evidence of that. So a lot of things involved with left-handers in general, but Rizzo in particular. And that's why you see the numbers he puts up. He protects the outside of the plate, and he can still turn inside.
No swing. 2-2 on Coughlin with Hayward at first. Eric Fryer doing the catching tonight. You may not see Francisco Cervelli the rest of the year, as that hand just bothering him so much. We noted that last night too, Steve, that Cervelli just so banged up. You could tell on a few balls. With Hayward on the move, Fryer won't throw. But the Cervelli valiantly trying to hang in there until the Pirates officially eliminated.
Here's the jump. Huge jump. And when you don't have a play at second, you don't throw the ball. So like his buddy, Tyler Glasnow, Jameson has to perfect that aspect of his game. Not necessarily perfect it, get better at it. Be quicker to home plate, whatever means you use.
And he's walked 2 hitters in this inning.
Very much out of character.
Well, as we were telling you, Tyone, one of the best rookies. Anyone with 17 starts, he had the 4th best walk rate of any rookie since 1901. So to walk 2 in an inning, I mean, is astounding.
A walk rate that is almost better than anybody, whether they're rookies or not.
Oh, sure. 4th best in baseball coming in. So that equals a career high 2 walks in a whole start.
Not a great sampling, 17 plus starts, but very, very impressive. Very impressive.
So walking both the lefties he's faced in the inning. Here's Montero. A guy that does not run well, so you can double him up if you get that ground ball.
Seen a couple good changeups.
This will be Tyone's final start of the season. 4 games remaining after this. That's the final time his turn comes up.
Out in front, 0-2.
So gets one there.
Not that you hold your breath, but a right-hand throwing first baseman now gets this ball and almost has to wind up throwing in the path or near the path of the guy going to second base. You can take the safe out at first base for the second out, but then you leave 2 runners in scoring position.
Jaso, who has steadily improved at making that throw to second base as the season's gone on. It's a force there. Fielder's choice from Montero, and Jake Arrieta, one of the top batting averages in the Cubs lineup at 270.
And not receiving the warmest of welcome from Pirate fans.
You can't pitch him like the old opposing pitcher. A couple of home runs already this year. He's at 4 in his career.
With the equalizer. the curveball. And it wasn't his best curveball. And it was a dangerous curveball, actually, because this is up and in. It's in the strike zone, but that ball can be hit a long, long way. But the fact that it was a curveball got Jake's attention. And he's fooling around inside with that breaking ball, and he's not wanting to have that curve there, up and in. He does not want that there. That's missing your spot.
And 3 balls and a strike after Taillon has already walked 2 in this inning.
Trying to crowd Jake. I think missing with the curveballs, but a couple fastballs inside also.
12 balls and 9 strikes in this inning for Taillon.
And sitting on the fastball, not quite getting to it.
The count full. Montero will be on the move from first. Hayward at third. And for Rodriguez. Taillon gets out of it. No hits. 2 left. Tied at 1. Go to the bottom of the second. Glad you're with us here on this Wednesday night. Well, that's a cool shirt right there. Hey, earlier today, a very sad time as in Miami, the procession for Jose Fernandez, who passed away, and the memorial being held at Marlins Park. Fans paying tribute to the 24-year-old. Passed away in that terrible boating accident over the weekend with 2 other men, and just a sad time around our corner of the world here in baseball and in the South Florida and Cuban communities.
Shocking news we got on Sunday morning. Shocking.
So punching that one into left.
Just slicing that ball away from Addison Russell. Line drive in the newspaper tomorrow.
Look at our Allegheny Health Network Supermo able to inside out that slider pretty well. Now David Freese. Montero tried to frame it, but it's ball one.
No argument there. You know, I shouldn't be so tough on Jake. I was awful with umpires. I screamed and hollered at him like a fool. So, Jake, that's on me. I take it back.
Earlier tonight, he was talking it over with Chris Guccione from the mound.
Barking at him. There's not as much of that as there used to be. There used to be a good bit, and there was give and take. And
umpires had a lot more leeway back then. Hayward for the first out. Pitch effects pretty much rules the roost now, and if the umpires don't judge the strike zone by that, then they get graded poorly, right? I mean, they can't make up things to speed a game along or to penalize a hitter or a pitcher, right?
Right. Well, they can still miss pitches. So who would know whether it's intentional or not?
Sure. Just can't do it too many times.
Right. Yeah. It's about volume, I guess.
Eric Fryer.
I'll never forget though, Danny Murtaugh coming out after it was ball 12 called by Stan Landis against Doc Ellis. And Stan said, "Danny, you better get him out of here. There ain't going to be any strikes for the doctor tonight." And that was, there was some kind of personal vendetta, and there wasn't going to be any strikes for Doc, so Danny took him out.
Can you believe it? I couldn't imagine seeing something like that today.
No. But you know what? Where are the stories going to be?
Yeah.
Where are those stories going to be?
Yeah, that's true.
Danny, I consider him a great man in my life.
What made him so great?
I thought he cared about you as a baseball player. He also let you do your job. He respected professionalism. You heard about it. If you didn't, if you're doing your job, you could come in the clubhouse every day. Didn't think about the manager. He was doing his job in his office. You had a job to do out on the ball field, and he expected you to do it without a lot of fanfare. Quiet class. He had a great sense of humor. I just thought he was like a baseball dad to me.
Fryer down on strikes. Second strikeout for Arrieta. Jameson Tyone coming up. Look at our Barrel Automotive league leaders. And the Cubs starting rotation
Stunning.
Very highly throughout. This is all of baseball. So what they've been able to do.
But just think, Arrieta, Lackey, Lester, Hamels, Hendricks. I mean, it's an intact rotation that is effective. I mean, that's the foundation. This is a very well-rounded, balanced ball club position-wise. But this rotation, we haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Five that you can count on. Wow, that ball smoked.
Tyone hit it hard, but right at Russell. And both teams tied at 1 through 2. Get ready for the Pens' 50th anniversary season with 50 hours of Penguins programming on Root Sports. Starting Monday, we're bringing you classic games, Stanley Cup celebrations, and unforgettable moments both on and off the ice nightly leading up to October 13th. It all starts Monday at 7 with our kickoff show, and then Pens' 2016 Stanley Cup win and celebration right here on Root Sports. As we pass the torch from baseball to hockey here soon. Here tonight on our UPMC scoreboard, 1-1 as we begin the third.
And the only element so far weather-wise is the wind. We were expecting the possibility of showers. That still might happen, but it remains a very strong breeze. Mostly in, maybe a little help that Rizzo got it. But, he got it over the wall. Hit it. His height on that ball when it cleared the wall was 22 feet. One to the good, one good enough with a 21-foot wall.
Perhaps maybe only 20.5 feet.
Perhaps.
As a fan reached for that ball, inconclusive.
20.5 feet in one arm.
Whether he reached over or not. Rizzo will take it though. He'll bat this inning.
I want to drink your ball.
Zombie night here at PNC Park. You can tell something is a little strange with Tyon walking two in the last inning. Come back with that pinpoint command on that curveball.
Yep. The backdoor curveball. Starting outside the outside corner and curving onto the corner. There it is. And there's the evidence.
Tyon struck out Bryant back in the first.
With a really good curveball. And that's a curveball that's okay. But again, up. He's throwing a lot of curveballs for strikes that he doesn't like the location. He can't like the location when it's upstairs that much. Comes back away from the fastball, just misses. Jammed him.
And Freeze. It's the second out.
Peanut butter and jam. Or getting into someone's kitchen.
I like that. Peanut butter and jam. Huh?
Or as Jackie Hernandez, our Cuban-born shortstop, used to say, he got in his chicken. Trying to say kitchen. That was second only to when he didn't like the calls. He said, don't squeeze the charm. Remember the old Mr. Whipple Charmin ads?
Yes.
And Jackie said, don't squeeze a charm.
Who's the charm?
The Charmin tissues. Jackie Hernandez, one of the real good people that I've run across that we had a chance to have in Pittsburgh.
Great to see that group all together again earlier this month.
Yep, 45th anniversary. Jackie is coaching. He wasn't able to be with us, but it's good to see that he is still in the game. Whatever infielders he runs across will be the better for it.
So deep to left, but Joyce. And the first 1, 2, 3 inning for Jamison Tyon. He's settling in. Why don't you settle in? The Pirates coming to bat here in a 1-1 tie. scoreboard. Pirates 1, Cubs 1. Pirates send up the top of the order against Jake Arrieta. It was a good first inning in that regard, with Frazier and Bell starting the frame with singles. Francisco Cervelli not in the lineup, and Clint Hurdle saying probably they're going to stay away from him. I would imagine he will not play unless necessary. And now that the Pirates have been officially eliminated from the postseason, that hand has been bothering him, his left hand, after that hamate surgery, and then came back and has taken a couple of balls off that one foul ball in particular. You saw that about a week ago. He's not been able to close the glove sometimes even. What a play there by Coughlin out and left.
Yeah, he wasn't going to try it again. That's where he got his base hit the first time up, to lead off the bottom of the first. Coughlin didn't quit on it. Yeah, Cervelli
playing shallow there.
Yeah, Cervelli not in the lineup, but still very active in the dugout. Here comes Chris Coughlin. Plays a little infield, plays a little outfield. What a carpet to dive for a ball on, huh?
See how shallow he already is there?
Yep.
Learned his lesson the first time, I guess.
Got that blue glove hinged around it.
Now, Frazier won for his last 14, and some of that, I think, is due to the adjustments the fielders have made, not even just what pitchers have done to him. And on a ball like that, we've seen a lot of those balls drop in, including tonight, that Frazier's just not getting now. Part of the cat and mouse game that continues.
Well,
right?
They keep moving in. He'll hit the ball over their head, and then they'll move back. And it just goes back and forth, like you said.
Frazier, a great contributor here in his rookie season, as has Josh Bell. Both have opened some eyes, and in two completely different ways. Everybody have heard about Josh Bell for a long time. Adam Frazier kind of snuck up on us and how effective he's been. So 2 gone as Bell retired 3-1. And tomorrow is your last chance to see the Pirates at PNC Park this season. Pirates closing out the 2016 home slate with a 7:05 game against these Cubs. Cheer on the Buccos in the last home game. Get your tickets at pirates.com. Hopefully you're not sitting next to them here on Zombie Night. Von Nova get the nod tomorrow against Rob Zastryzny.
It was interesting, that last play with Bell going over and racing Arrieta. Arrieta has to trust sportsmanship. He's got his back to Josh Bell, and he's got to kind of trust that Josh Bell is not going to step on the back of his Achilles tendon. I mean, that stuff doesn't happen. But you as a pitcher covering over there, okay, I've got confidence that guy's got a free run at me if he wants to do anything that's out of line. But that happens very rarely. So you got to go ahead and commit yourself to making a play. Here's the play. It's going to be close, and you see Arrieta can't see Bell, so he's got to trust that Josh is going to take his part of the base and not really just step on him, because you could easily really mess up a career by hitting an Achilles tendon or bad ankle break.
I would imagine the same thing for the runner too. Stepping on another guy's foot on the run like that, right? I mean, kind of jam a guy up pretty good.
Yep.
That's amazing, all the activity that takes place on bang bang plays around the bag. And
well, and they teach you in spring training, if you can, run over kind of to the line 3/4 down and then go up the line. So you've got that part of the base lined up. That's your part of the situation. There's a great play by Bryant. That's a tremendous play.
And so Arrieta will author his first 1-2-3 inning on some good defense by the Cubs in the third. Still tied at 1.
It's time for the Toyota RAV 4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV Hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
1-1 as we start the 4th. And we told you we'd see some good pitching tonight, and yeah, I think so far we have. Both teams planting a run in the first. And Tyone and Arrieta settling in now and flashing their wares. Tyone struck out Zobrist looking back in the first. Cubs signed the veteran to a 4-year deal beginning this season. It's interesting, you know, the two big signings that they made, I think the splashiest at least, were he and Jason Hayward. Zobrist, who's almost a decade older than Hayward, has performed very well and up to expectations. Hayward offensively has not lived up to his norms.
Nor his contract, if you go by production worth.
We'll see how it goes over the length of their deals. Zobrist at 35, and Hayward just 27 years old in the first year of an 8-year deal.
For what, 180 million?
A lot. It's well over that number.
More than 180?
Yes.
Over 200 million?
It's not an auction. I don't know the exact number, Steve, but it's over 200. I was trying to get out of not knowing the exact number.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I get the idea.
I can look it up here.
Well, no, please don't.
But I'm always cheating.
Please,
you gotta let me. You gotta let me cheat over here, right? Just say, yeah, and more than that, okay? It's a lot. You and I can't count that high. Put it that way.
Yeah,
but,
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Whatever the market will bear.
Hey, more power to him. And yeah, look, he's absolutely. At 27.
Absolutely.
He's still pre-prime in theory. So
I'm not an old ball player that's bitter. Just a 95 IQ, gainfully employed. That's all I want to be known.
Well, that's the first time we've seen Jameson Tyone issue 3 walks in a major league game.
After a 1-2-3 inning, and these guys with control, they hate the base on balls. They can live with the hits, but they hate to walk people.
That's Tyone's mad face right there. He
doesn't look really happy at all.
He's given up 1 hit. That was the home run to Rizzo, but he's walked 3.
Now, Zobrist doesn't run very much or very well, but with the success they had with the first steal attempt, you never know, because many times teams will run and steal bases until somebody's thrown out.
Steve, I want to correct myself. You said Hayward 180 was close to that, 184. I thought it was over 200.
I knew it was, but I'm working with you.
I don't have all the answers. They're somewhere in this machine here, but I'll find them. Siri, how much does that's the secret. See if we can get 2 out of this. And Hayward able to beat out the relays. Pretty good runner, tough to double up.
It looked like a sure double play.
And a new double play combination out there. Hayward does not come down on the bag until he drags his foot across. And they're going to challenge this, and I believe that they've got a good beef right here, because it was pretty clear to me that Hayward landed his foot just shy of the bag and then dragged his toe across it. And by that point, the Jaso had already received the ball. So you
wonder if that kind of thing is affected by the fact that Jaso loses his footing, and if that influences the play at all.
He's not there.
He missed. That lead foot did not hit the base.
Okay.
But again, I don't speculate anymore.
Yep. Well, that was a very quick decision from the umpires in New York. And
Zobrist is not leaving yet. Or I'm sorry, Hayward is not leaving yet. And now they're going to say, you have to go away.
So the call overturned. The Pirates win that challenge. So Brian Gorman correct in assessing that the throw didn't beat Hayward near the bag, but actually touching the bag, yes.
Yep. I told you it looked like a sure double play. Cleans up the top of the fourth.
His team has turned one tonight. And so now you get Addison Russell to bat with the bases empty. Got a nice tidy replay. Love that. Quickly challenged, quickly ruled upon, overturned. Game moves on very quickly.
Addison Russell is quickly challenged, 0-2.
Popped out his first time around against Tyone.
No chase on the high fastball. But 2 outs here in the 4th inning.
Now 2-2.
Boy, almost got that call. And then this is interesting because Jameson's curveball is hanging on that third base side of home plate inside of these right-hand batters. You can see that last delivery. That one doesn't, but misses low.
3 straight balls after being ahead 0-2.
So he's thrown some really good curveballs, but some curveballs that he could have got hurt on and has gotten away with. So far, so good.
And he gets the strikeout. This is the minimum 3. Still just 1 hit against Tyone, but we're tied at 1. Go to the bottom of the 4th. Second to last game here at PNC Park this year on Zombie Night. And look at one of our Point Park tweets. Seeing a zombie is the only way to meet someone who saw the Cubs win a World Series.
Oh.
Well, what, there's 7 billion people in the world, right? And about 200 of them were living at that time. So yeah, that percentage-wise, it's probably pretty fair. Well, look at that makeup job. I hope that's a makeup job.
Good looking flannel shirt too.
Yeah, how come all seems like everybody on Halloween is wearing flannel. Anybody with a bloody mesh, right?
Well, except for that shirt.
I guess it washes out easily. I don't know. I like using it to rake the leaves.
Flannel shirts?
Yeah, why not?
Flannel was one of the great inventions. Autumn wear.
Did you ever wear the thicker uniform? I know they weren't flannel, but when you started your career, the woolen uniforms, or
in high school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in Little League, and I was lucky I did on one occasion. 50-pound, like a heavy wool gray uniform. I was on second base and forgotten that I should have gone out in back of the dugout.
Uh-oh.
Nobody knew but me. Gray flannel, heavy. Actually felt pretty good for
and absorbent.
Yeah, felt good for a little bit. The crossfire from Jake Arrieta. Steps toward third, comes back toward home plate.
I was wondering how you're going to segue from that. Well, tie game here at PNC Park here tonight. Tied at 1.
Nobody knows how many of those types of emergencies have occurred on a major league field. They will never be divulged.
I don't know how.
I know you know all the numbers, but you don't know that number.
I'll never have that number. That's to be sure. I don't know how you have a story for everything. This is great. Joyce, I believe, hit with that pitch. Sounded like it from up here. And the toe, maybe? Foot?
He's going to first base.
Well, it's a ball 4 no matter what, but he's hit with the pitch. Let's see if we can get a better read on that. Okay, so slider coming in there, and
ooh, ouch.
Ooh, that's a bad spot.
Left foot. How about that, the super mode? You know, this is my last TV game of the season, and I just want to give some accolades to all the folks that run the cameras and give us those great shots. The regular shots are great, but that super mode is accurate and entertaining. I mean, A&E, it's so much fun. It teaches us and entertains us. The super mode, I love super mode. But thanks for all the help you've given us. Thanks for that.
That's a base hit. And Joyce, after getting hit on that ankle, scampering into third. Pirates in business here in the 4th.
Hit by pitch, base hit.
Look at our Allegheny Health Network
oh,
Super
yeah.
Mo.
Give me all the Super Mo I can get. We need more cowbell. More cowbell and Super Mo. And Sean Rodriguez, who's been on a lot of pitches recently on this one. Matt the Scat getting around to third base. With apologies to Matt Alexander. Got great speed. Did you ever hear about Matt Alexander, our pinch runner, who actually ran from third base into home plate backwards one time?
No.
Yeah, like Jimmy Pearsall kind of stuff. only Matt wasn't.
Or Germany Schaefer.
Didn't have issues.
Except he did it forward just the wrong way.
I wonder what Bob Gibson would have done if he saw Matt running in from third to home backwards next time up. Of course, Matt never hit very much, so he couldn't get back at him. Now that's showing the game up a little bit.
Was that an effort to try to deceive?
No,
or just to do it to showboat?
To do it, showboat.
Oh, okay. Wow. I can't say I've ever seen that.
I've seen some footage of Jimmy Pearsall hitting a home run and running to third base. But Jim had a lot of issues. as we found out in one of the worst ever baseball movies that ever was done, Fear Strikes Out, the Jimmy Pearsall story.
Well, 2 thumbs down from Steve Ebert.
Among others that have both thumbs down on that one.
2 on with nobody out. Now 2-2 on Jaso.
You got Anthony Perkins playing Jimmy Pearsall and Carl Malden playing his dad. A film based on the life of Jimmy Pearsall. Grew up in Waterbury, Connecticut. Really was a very good baseball player, but at times did some bizarre things. He worked in Chicago, I think with the Cubs or the White Sox or both.
2-2, yeah, with the White Sox.
How about that combo, Harry Carey and Jimmy Pearsall?
An effervescent duo.
Yes. And you want to be entertained. I don't know. I don't know about some other things, but that had to be entertaining. As it was when Harry Carey and Bob Prince got together when we went to Chicago. Very entertaining.
Well, I wish I was a fly on the wall for those.
Yes.
2-2. Out to right and deep, and there it goes! A home run for John Jaso! And the Pirates get to Arrieta again.
This has been an amazing little stretch against Jake Arrieta, and I don't care who it's against. John Jaso got a pitch he liked, and he buried it. It's not the easiest night to hit home runs, but both home runs have been in probably the most vulnerable area. But take nothing away from this shot by the Pirate first baseman. Number 28 goes deep.
Jaso's 7th home run. Pirates with their first lead.
Number 16 given up by Jake Arrieta. It's a curveball that stays there inside in that go zone. And he gave it a ride. Now would I have it right pretty much that he's given up 16 home runs, at least 5 by the Pirates?
In the last 16, 3 starts, he's given up 5 to the Pirates.
And his total, you know, what about his total number of home runs all year? And there it goes. Wind didn't hurt that one too much. Worth another look.
Estimated at 381 feet on StatCast. And so the Pirates have been able to figure out Arrieta these last 3 starts against him. 16 runs in less than 16 innings. And all of them earned. And that's the first out of the inning. Jaso has not gotten regular playing time as the season has gone to a close, but he has been a contributor again, either off the bench or in spot starts. Under contract for next season with the Pirates. Eric Fryer finds one. Arrieta, who seems to do so well against just about everybody, the Pirates have just found a way. 20 pitches already this inning. He's only retired 1.
Well, he is still holding on to a 9-2 career record against the Pirates, but the ERA is jumping.
Oh, so dominant in those prior 9 starts. Showing the button, pulling it back.
Well, the way he hit the ball first time up, I mean, he ripped it. It happened to be right at Addison Russell. Can't hit a ball much harder. And now Hurdle wants to discuss something with Luciani, and I'm not sure what it's about. Both umpires.
They keep pointing over toward first base.
Now Rizzo is talking to a couple of the umpires. Now Joe Madden wants to see what's going on. I don't know what this is about.
It's something unusual because
Clint came out and mentioned something, and that created this discussion.
I keep talking with Anthony Rizzo up the first base line. The only thing I can think of, Steve, is that if one of their Cubs players was in foul territory as the pitch came in, to start, you cannot position players other than the catcher in foul territory. And they had Zobrist at first base and Rizzo at second base. Is this an illegal glove situation? Might be an illegal glove. There are rules regarding the length of gloves. That seems interesting here in the middle of an inning.
Now, has Rizzo got a fielder's? What's going on?
Oh, so this is what's so now Rizzo because
why is he going to second base?
Because of the Cubs alignment.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-1 because they stationed Zobrist right at the bag.
Yeah. Okay. He's got a.
Rizzo is not allowed to have a first baseman's glove, which is larger than the other gloves.
I'd even argue that point this day and age.
Now 1-2. So a very obscure reference there, but Clint Hurdle is pointing out the actual rules. So at least for this alignment, Rizzo will have a glove maybe what an inch shorter or so.
To me, this is much ado about nothing.
Balls and 2 strikes. And with 2 strikes, he gets the bunt down. And so the second baseman throws to the first baseman.
Sure.
And it is.
Sure, they're going to switch gloves.
Yeah, and it's scored 4-3. Even though, so Rizzo technically was playing second base on that play. So the first time Anthony Rizzo's played second base in a major league game. That's scored 4-3.
Yep. I wonder if they have done that before.
I've never even heard of something like that, but that's why you watch every game, right? You never know what you're going to see.
Well, we're starting to see the 5-man infield again on occasion.
So even in a game where the Pirates are eliminated from the postseason, the Cubs already have everything wrapped up that they're going to need. Home field in the NL and the division. We still see something we've never seen before. It's the beauty of the game of baseball. So has his first baseman's meant back, since now he's the first baseman again.
There it is. There is a
beauty.
Nicely trimmed. Where did they find a blue cow with those kind of laces?
Probably very far up north.
Yep, cold.
Pirates have taken the lead on the John Jaso 3-run home run.
Now, after this out, if the Cubs leave their gloves on the field for the Pirates to use, like they used to do in the old days, then we'll really have something going on.
By the way, earlier I said that the length of the gloves may change. Well, actually, they changed the rules prior to this season that the length of the first baseman's mitt is a maximum of 13 inches, the same for all fielders' gloves. So
I was going to say,
it's just the style of glove that changes. Actually, the maximum length of the glove, there's no difference now as there used to be prior to this season. And the Pirates continue to be effective against Jake Arrieta. So a 30-pitch inning as Rizzo Gate continues. 30 pitches for Arrieta and just 2 outs recorded.
You look at some of these outfielders' gloves that they have. They've got to believe that they're close to, if not at 13 inches or whatever the legal limit is. They're kind of hinged gloves. The ball hits in the pocket, everything closes up.
Josh Bell is the 8th Pirate to bat in this inning.
That started at, it was a 12:35 start this inning.
Well, tonight has singled. Three for 4 with a home run in his career against Arrieta. 2 on, 2 out. Up to third, and Bryant take care of the inning
with his regular glove.
Pirates with 3 on a big home run by John Jaso. And that smooth swing gives the Pirates their first lead of the night. Their first lead, 4-1 against Jake Arrieta and the Cubs. And Joe Madden talking things over between innings with Chris Guccione, and just talking with the great TV voice of the Cubs, Len Casper, between innings, and he was telling us that the Cubs have done this before, this kind of alignment. There's Brian Gorman. It's up to the crew chief, is what Len was telling us, that to
decide whether that's okay or not. They've run it by the league office, and the league office has said it's in the judgment of the crew chief to allow it or not allow it. So, again, much ado about nothing. Who cares what kind of glove they're using?
And as I mentioned last inning, that there used to always be a maximum length that was longer for first baseman. Nice play there by Frazier to start the fifth.
He went a long way for that ball, and then did a nice turnaround throw. Nice smooth looking play. Get a circle on that one. This ball bounced wide of Jaso, and had him well out on the grass, and really a good confident throw. Goes a long way, gets it, and the turn. Gonna get him again.
And just to finish up about the Rizzo gate, about the gloves. That's some nice glove work there by Frazier. The baseball had amended the rules in years past to make the maximum length of any glove 13 inches. So whereas before you could have a longer glove at first and you could not have a longer glove at other positions.
It's almost like they're going back to the basis that identifies a first baseman, that type of glove.
Right. That is a shorter glove, which he elects to use, and that's a mitt. First baseman's mitt, kind of a different style. So I guess a procedural thing.
Those are big gloves right there. I mean, several cows went down for that one.
Now you want to, what's the difference between, say, an outfielder's glove, first base? I think we all know catcher's glove, infielder glove. I mean, there's 3 or 4 different styles. Right?
I'll tell you, the catcher's gloves are almost getting like that hinge effect. Remember the old round catcher's glove?
Yeah.
Or tight, almost round, not quite. But now,
catcher's glove, 2 hands, right?
Yeah, catcher's gloves are not too far away from first baseman's mitts.
You got that hinged effect. Yeah, they kind of have the easily fold over thing because the catchers, before you'd see, I remember seeing old pictures, right? They had to have one hand exposed and they close the glove with the other hand. Seems a lot safer the way it is today.
We've got a nice 1-2-3 inning going here for Taillon. Yes.
8 pitches. So Taillon really in a groove. Just the 1 hit allowed tonight, and he's working with a 4-1 lead. Day Automotive, this day in Pirates history. Back in 2013, the Pirates beating the Reds 8-3 to clinch home field for the NL wildcard game against those same Reds a few days later. 6 home runs in the game for the Buccos, 2 by Neil Walker, Andrew McCutchen, Pedro Alvarez, Marlon Byrd, Andrew Lambo, all hitting one out at Great American Ballpark. And of course, we remember that game. Wait. I wish I was there for that.
Yeah, that was an electric night in this city. An electric night. I've not seen anything quite like it.
I was glued to my TV that night. I had the sound. What's the maximum sound? 100? I think I had it on 100.
No, it was.
You could hear it rumbling.
It was cranking. I mean, this city was on fire.
Two on McCutcheon here to start the 5th.
Everybody I've talked to about that night was convinced that the noise caused Cueto to drop the ball.
It had to.
No.
I really think so. You don't think so?
No, of course not. Guys drop. It happens all the time. Guys drop baseballs around the mound. I mean,
not all that often.
Well, okay.
But I thought so at home. I don't know.
Well,
it's a great debate, isn't it?
Well, no. If people believe that they cause it, that's good enough for me.
The leadoff man gone here in the Pirates' 5th. And for the first time ever, you can tour PNC Park during the offseason. Get a behind-the-scenes look at the dugout, batting cages, press box, even the Pirates clubhouse. Off-season tours begin on October 8th, and tickets can be purchased online. If you'd like to come out and see the ballpark, pirates.com/tours for more info. Steve Blass will be your guide.
I've given lots of tours around this ballpark. I don't know all the details that the professionals, I should say volunteers, I don't know.
Professional volunteers.
Yeah, professional volunteers that do that.
Get covered.
But
do you get to go atop the batter's eye?
No. I have to. Anybody has to okay that with Troy. I mean, that's sacred ground up there. Those guys are up there in the wind, the rain, and they deliver us the pictures.
So with that glove, able to get it over to Arrieta.
And will I have a moment too? My last game, I want to say a sincere thank you to all the folks down in the truck, Pete and Adam and Jason and Tyler, the whole crew, and Gary and Zach, all the guys up here, Tim who helps us out, Billy Morello. Thank you. It's not that you just make us look good; they make themselves look good with the great things they do to bring the pictures and the story of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So thanks for all the help. You've cleaned up my act so many times, guys. Thanks so much. And, look forward to ongoing ball games here at PNC Park. And to avoid any confusion, which happened. Whoa!
Rodriguez deep to left. And it's off the wall. A double for Rodriguez, his second hit of the night. And Chris Coughlin slow to get up. And uh-oh.
He took a shot.
And we have seen a late season injury for a playoff bound team come from one side of Chris Coughlin, and now here at PNC Park, limping here. Athletic trainer out.
Certainly hoping he's all right. Isn't it ironic, though, that it's Chris Coughlin who might be getting a leg injury? And we certainly hope it's not serious. He's up and not bouncing around, but up. And he took a shot as he was vulnerable, pretty much in the same neighborhood
he's got his
that Polanco
caught up there. Yeah.
Well,
that left leg
came that close.
Cleat kind of gets caught, which happened to Polanco, but Polanco had a cheek bruise.
Yep. There have been fielders who have used that cleat connection to help themselves, to jump themselves up further to make a play.
Awkward landing for Coughlin. And with the Cubs having everything wrapped up there.
There it is. There's the evidence.
They're not going to take any precautions with Coughlin. Well, we certainly hope that he gets okay.
Yep.
A little limp there too.
Morrow Jr. goes out to take over in left field. He was involved in the Jung Ho Gung injury, Coughlin, but this looks like it's proactive to get him in there and just take care of him and not risk any more issues out there.
Yeah, no sense in trying to run him out there anymore. Coughlin reacquired the midseason from the A's. Depth outfielder and infielder for the Cubs. And he'll go to get looked at. So Rodriguez with his 16th double, he stays red hot.
On a given night, that ball's out of here comfortably. They'll take him down to the X-ray room where I show people a lot of X-rays of, celebrities, not so much ball players. Yeah, Hollywood types. Got them up on the wall, autographed. But there's at least one X-ray room in this ballpark, down in the tunnel past the Pirates' home clubhouse. There's also a water park and a Valley Fitness Center.
Oh, wow. You're really selling this off-season tour thing. Huh? So last time up, hit a 3-run home run over the Clemente wall. Two for two tonight. Marietta got one back from Chris Guccione. Pitch was called a strike, number 3, yellow dot. Another blast by Jason. He's going to drive in the run. And Jason with 3 hits tonight. Pirates up 5-1 on Jake Arrieta and the Cubs.
JJ. And nothing cheap about either one of those back-to-back doubles. 2 out stuff, 2 routine ground balls, 1 out, 2 outs, and then bang, bang, the Pirates add on. Rodriguez and now Jason. Tries to get it inside, but it just didn't happen. It happens for John.
And the Pirates continue their mastery over Arrieta the last 3 starts. Jason with 25 doubles. Last 3 starts against Arrieta, 17 runs in 17 innings. That's a fair ball. Jason is in. Free's going to try for 2. And he gets in. 6-1 Buccos.
Double your pleasure. Just keep trading places.
3 straight doubles with 2 outs.
Right over third base. And now Morrow Jr. having to protect the left field corner. Can't come in and rush the ball, so he has to lay back. This ball's going to bounce off the stands and create another Pirate run. Easy for Jason to score. Then a little interesting at second base. And all's well that ends well at second base, and the Pirates 2-out action.
23 doubles for number 23. And here in Arrieta's final tune-up before the postseason, it's not going according to script. So the Pirates, the only team in Arrieta's last 68 starts to score 6 earned runs against them, and they've done it 3 times in a row.
And it might be limited to that because they've got activity in the bullpen.
Trying to get through Eric Fryer, who's already got a hit tonight.
You just don't see this very often this early in Arrieta's start. Mike Montgomery.
For the Pirates off Arrieta. And what seemingly was going to be a tidy inning. 3 straight 2-out doubles. And hard hit. Jaso with 4 RBIs tonight and 3 hits already. And that gets through. Freeze on his way home, and the Pirates are winning 7-1.
And this is an afterthought, but I wonder, well, they must feel that they could have gotten Fryer out and not walking and just pitched a tie on. With the first base open, they chose to work the Fryer and he made him pay. Nice job outside, going straight up the middle. And a ball that should have been caught, but it wasn't.
Well, the Pirates with 7 against Arrieta. He has not allowed that many in more than 2 years.
And I don't know how big a deal it is to keep the ERA under 3, but he came in at 285.
It's over 3 now.
Yeah.
311 at the moment. A little solace for Arrieta. And the Pirates continue their dominance against Jake Arrieta. 7-1.
By the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And all of a sudden, Pirates blowing this wide open, 7-1. David Freese capping 3 straight 2-out doubles. Rodriguez started it. Jaso with 4 RBIs tonight and 3 hits. And look at some of our Point Park tweets. And the Pirates have been pounding Jake Arrieta. Yeah, it's weird, to be honest. Arrieta usually in command, but the Pirates His last 3 times around.
It's zombie night.
Yeah. 19 earned runs against Arrieta in his last 3 starts against the Pirates. And Jameson Taillon, meanwhile, has allowed 1 hit. And that would have been a hit no matter what, but may not have been a home run. As a fan reached for the ball. Anthony Rizzo hit it back in the first inning. And on zombie night, Steve, 3 walks from Taillon. He's never done that in his 18 big league starts.
He's on a roll now. If you go back to Arrieta grounding out in the second to end that inning, he has faced the minimum with the help of a double play.
Well, remember with Taillon, he did not pitch in each of the last 2 seasons. And he is pitching on September 28th of this year. They didn't have to shut him down. He is still pitching. He's still healthy. And Taillon's going to finish with more than 100 innings at the major league level this year. And really, really nice to see him come back and have this kind of season, because we didn't know what we were going to see after a 2-year layoff.
Yep. 62 innings at AAA. Nice. So 160 innings.
And can easily build upon that next year. He's a candidate to give you 190 or 200 innings next year because of what he's been able to do this year.
Well, look at how big and strong he is. I mean, you would expect him to deliver a couple 100 innings. Motoring right along here as he works in the 6th. Motoring right along. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay, now that error is an error. Now, Jameson Taillon, one of the things he's going to be called upon to do as he watches this ball clank off the base, off the base of the glove, is to pick up his infielders. Errors are going to occur. Now, what you should be inspired to do is get Frazier off the hook.
Frazier with 6 errors and about 280 innings in the field this year. It's the equivalent of 31 full games.
Nothing that makes a pitcher feel good as much as picking up your guys.
Up to Bell. And they'll get the second out. And the most popular way to follow the chase for the postseason is with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your favorite devices now.
I wish I wanted. Those are, what do they call them? Kind of the old Chuck Tanner style hats.
Oh, yeah,
the fishing hats or whatever. They're golf hats too. Yeah, floppy hats. Yeah. Fun to have on a golf course. They used to be all over the golf course. Now they're out of favor now at the country clubs.
Maybe an homage to the late Arnold Palmer. She might even have an iced tea mixed with a lemonade to go with it.
Yep, this goes with anything. The king. Yeah. He was a king that didn't act like a king. Palmer. I think Arnold Palmer used his allotted gift of time as good as you could possibly imagine in his lifetime, and distributing that gift of his time to a lot of people. Nick Leyva is a big golfer, big fan of golf. He'll be checking out the Ryder Cup this weekend.
2-2 on Zobrist.
Young Pirate fan, happy with this 7-1 lead.
Maybe the youngest here today. Having some puffs, probably, maybe some Cheerios. Got a good stand on the club level.
Working on his 90th pitch. Anderson Tyone with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Yeah, he's had 42 through the first 2 innings. He's rebounded pretty nicely since then. Right on the move. And Deed gets out of the inning.
Twinkle toes. 3-1.
So picks up his teammate. Just as you said. And the Pirates enjoying a 7-1 lead.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Silverado and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. With express service, you're in and out in no time. Visit barrelservice.com to find a location near you. Let's go Bucks!
Jameson Tyone and the Pirates leading 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And receiving some hugs, meaning his season, his rookie season is through, and what an impressive one it has been.
A lot of changes.
Happy birthday.
Mike Montgomery coming out. We've seen him earlier in the season. 48th appearance for Mike Montgomery. 8 home runs given up.
And pitched 2/3 of an inning yesterday. Adam Frazier hitting .476 against lefties to hit things off. So Matt Caesar now in the ball game. He's in left field. Albert Almora Jr. moves from left to center. But wait, there's more. Tommy La Stella in the game at third. So Munenori Kawasaki in the game at second base.
But where? But wait, there's even more than that.
Oh wait. Yes, please stay tuned.
Where did Chris Bryant go?
Chris Bryant, he's
with the first baseman's mitt.
Yes.
Glove.
Which makes him eligible to play first base. So we've got all the changes. Well, Joe Madden has said that the Cubs are going to play these games like spring training, and sure enough, wholesale changes in and around the 6th inning. That sounds about right. Especially with the Pirates handily in favor. And foul ground. LaStella records the out. And so the Pirates against Jake Arrieta. 7 runs on 10 hits in 5 innings. And Arrieta giving up 3 earned runs in consecutive innings for the first time in his career. That comes here tonight against the Pirates.
A couple of walks, 4 strikeouts to complete his line.
John Jaso has driven in 4 runs.
Big night for John. Smile, John. It's fun.
Been doing a lot of running around out there. Sean Rodriguez, a couple more hits. And Bell with his second hit. Bell aboard at first with 1 out. And tonight on Inside Pirates Baseball, first pitch swinging is on the rise. And some Pirates are at the forefront of the movement. Plus a look at why Ivan Nova is pitching like a new man on Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame right here on Root Sports. And Josh Bell is done. Pedro Florimon is in the game to pinch run for him. And a strike to McCutchen. Seven to 1 Pirates here in the 6th. Two from Mike Montgomery, who has bounced around, a prospect on his way up earlier on in his career with Kansas City. It's in the Rays system, then with the Mariners earlier last year and this year. Slowly hit, going to be tough to get to. They'll get the 1. Kawasaki to Russell on the force. Florimon erased. Now Matt Joyce. Trying to get a hit off a lefty. And has been hitless his last 11 times against a lefty pitcher. Last time coming in mid-June against the Cubs. Clayton Richard. This time he got a hit off a lefty. Still hitting .226 against lefty pitching. Got off to that great start, being able to hit lefties, something that had kind of pigeonholed him in the last few years with the Angels last year, and then the prior with the Rays, strictly platoon. And some meaningful games out in the American League East.
A lot of pitching going on tonight.
Toronto, the big defeat of the Orioles yesterday. And AL East is still the last division to be decided, though the Red Sox, with any win or any Blue Jays loss, will clinch. And Toronto moving ahead of Baltimore by 2 games for the right to host the wild card. The Orioles still trying to make sure that they can get in because the Tigers are on their tails. A game back. So a hit and a man left. Jared Hughes coming on. 7-1 Buccos.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing, and by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Pirates on top 7-1. No surrender. Now the Pirates got to win out to make this a winning season in terms of a winning record. And a good start here tonight, a resounding lead.
Those guys are with us. Oh, some baseballs.
Adam Frazier will get a bigger glove. He'll go out to left field. Moving over from second base. Joyce from left to right field. And Pedro Florimon came into pinch run. He'll now take over at second base. Jason Hayward ahead, ball one.
The numbers for Jared as he comes on to replace Jameson Taillon. ERA under 3. There's his stock and trade downstairs. Yep. Taillon was brilliant.
Oh, I love seeing him pitch on September 28th and 6 innings of 1 hit ball.
Yeah.
After missing the last 2 seasons.
One mistake.
Got underneath it. And it will be Rodriguez saying thank you very much. Now to see Taillon working into this point of the season, he had a couple of starts skipped on purpose the middle of the season, and to see these young guys be able to really dip into September for the first time. Now maybe next year we'll see them pitch in October. But a good first step for this young core. The next wave, hoping to complement and to move in and play some significant roles as well.
Yes, what will 2017 bring? I would think it's going to be a busy offseason for Pirate management. It always is, but perhaps busier.
The contracts that will be up, the contracts that can be up, the Pirates have to make several decisions on arbitration eligible players like Jared Hughes.
I think putting together a rotation, foundation of a baseball team.
And Russell struck with a pitch. I'm with you, Steve. That's and I'm sure Neil Huntington knows the same thing.
Yeah, it's no secret.
Yeah, that's job one.
Yep.
Got him right underneath the arm. Albert Almora Jr. Coming to play left. There's Coughlin leaving with an injury after going up the wall and having his cleat stuck.
Out of this image of Andrew Jones down in Atlanta getting a spike in there, propelling himself up way up in the air to make a catch and rob some Pirate of a home run back in the day.
So Pedro Strop getting up in the Cubs pen. Now 2-2. And Hector Rondon also getting up. We saw those two pitch on Monday when the Cubs had a handy advantage, and then Now the Pirates up big here. The Cubs are not playing the games to the score. They're playing the games to get ready for the postseason. So that's why we didn't see them last night when the Cubs had a relatively close lead. The Pirates were storming back in that bottom of the 9th inning. None of their late inning relievers that they normally pitch with leads were to be found.
They're playing for position, and they earned that right. Winning 101 games.
So 2 on with 1 out, and Clint Hurdle's got to phone the bullpen. As we transition into college football, join us this weekend as the Pitt Panthers kick off against the thundering herd of Marshall under the lights at Heinz Field. Don't miss any of the action live this Saturday, starting at 7:30 right here on Root Sports. Seven to 1 Pirates here in the 7th. And crispness in the air. Fall begins.
Christmas in the air.
Or that. Yes. If you wish. You're the one giving me a gift today. Thank you for that kind gift.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yep, we're actually going to have a little post-game wrap-up after the game this evening. Give everybody personal thanks for everybody helping everybody out. We'll be convening up at the Rivertown Hall of Fame Club. Convening for our annual meeting and the reading of our most favorite fan letter we've ever received.
All right, looking forward to that.
We've had it for 7 years. It requires it's a little dose of reality, if you will. Accurate.
This will be my first time getting to be part of this letter.
Heartfelt letter from a fan who cares.
As soon as I get my invitation, Steve, I'll be there. Thanks again for that.
Yeah, stop by when you got less time, Joe. No, we're happy to have you be involved. Yep. And by the way, this is the last time we're going to be working this year. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. We had a little chat about that on the pregame show on radio yesterday, but I've enjoyed working with you, and it's good to have you and Beth and Nancy part of the Pirate family. Really, yep.
No,
Joe Block, you've a good addition. As I said last night, you've been one of the best of the Pirates off-season free agent acquisitions.
One of the top 25.
Well. It's worked out well.
No, thank you very much.
It.
No, I appreciate it, and it's been wonderful being here.
And it's so important for you to be involved in our meeting after the game, and you can buy the first round.
That sounds good to me. Do they take traveler's checks?
You'll need one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. But it's I'm sure it's not the easiest thing to step in, but this is as you've said so many times, your dream job, and you've done well with it.
I kid about that because it's good to finally be home. This is where we've wanted to be for some time. So thank you for inviting me in. Not that you had a choice, but thank you for making me feel very comfortable. That you did have a choice. As Zach Phillips gets up for the Pirates. Put our love fest on pause with 2 men on here. Now Hughes is no stranger to this situation. Usually it's not self-inflicted. He comes in a spot like this, so trying to get that double play ball and get out of it. Contreras is not a bad runner for a catcher, but still you can double him up with a ground ball. Slowly hit one's going to be trouble though, and it'll go foul. That's not the kind of ground ball you'd want. Hey, there's a nice grab. Bring your glove.
Your mitt. Is that legal? Is that mitt legal? It is. It is.
Nice tan glove right there.
New friends of David Freese. Looks like they both got some action.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you bring your glove, you get a ball. Look at that. That's proof positive right there. They each got one.
Sometimes we take that for granted, how special that is, especially for a youngster to get a ball. Everybody likes getting a baseball when the kids get one. That's part of why you come to the ballpark.
There's a ground ball and an errant throw. They won't get anybody, and a run will come in for the Cubs. 7-2. And the error on Freeze to allow Almora to reach second. It's a fielder's choice for Contreras.
It looked like David never got a really serious grip on the ball. It looked funny coming out of his hand. And so that'll cost Jared Hughes the rest of his appearance.
Probably got the result he wanted to, or at least the ground ball that he wanted to, but his evening is over. And the lead cut into 7-2. We look at our Volkswagen standings, and in the National League wild card, the Mets right now have the opportunity to host if they can stay ahead of the Giants, and the Cardinals still want to have their say. And the Mets, the team that eliminated the Cubs from the postseason last year, en route to the World Series. Here's 7-2 Buccos. Second and third, a run in after an error. Tommy La Stella gets his first at bat. He's going to drive in one, and that will be it. Well, now through the stop sign, here comes Contreras, and now 7-4, and the Cubs making this a ball game again.
Gary Jones kept saying, "Don't go." But keep an eye. There's the first guy getting windmilled in, but the stop sign is up.
And Contreras got such a good jump. He was almost a third. Not a bad runner, especially for a catcher.
Well, see, what happens there? The catchers get the pitchers shake them off all the time, so they're going to shake off the sign from the third base coach. See, that's what happens. They're just getting even.
Just Just paused for a moment, shook him off,
yeah.
and then kept going.
Yeah, yeah. I want another sign. I want another sign saying go.
All right, go. A 2-run single for LaStella. Caesar had yet to bat. Those runs will be charged to Hughes.
I'll catch you up with the numbers for Zach Phillips, who has been pretty good so far. Nothing wrong with that. Brief sampling. Nothing at all wrong with that when they're all zeros at the top.
Pass Fryer, and LaStella moves up.
This has gotten ugly after Jameson Taillon was so brilliant. Now his numbers won't be adjusted at all, but the numbers up on the scoreboard in terms of runs, and Pirates trying to hold on to this win that's in their grasp, but not looking as comfortable as it did.
Should point out the Cubs have 2 hits tonight
and 4 runs.
The Pirates are out hitting the Cubs 11-2, and the Cubs have the tying run on deck. Phillips now has allowed 4 of the 11 inherited runners that he's had to score. His highlight so far this season is when he struck out Bryce Harper looking with the bases loaded and 2 outs back on Friday. Not pitched in the big leagues in 3 years. Pitched in Japan and in AAA in the interim. So 1 out there after LaStella was able to move up.
Attempting to restore order here in the 7th inning.
So a couple of times looked like a sure bet double play ball. An error was made. And then there a situation where LaStella moves up on a wild pitch. Would have had likely a double play ball there.
The pitching change.
Outs. September baseball 7-4 Pirates. A cold one to look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
I'm trying to figure this one out, but hot dog night at the ballpark.
Well, what goes better with the Miller Lite than a couple of dogs? I guess they're a day late. I thought it was pup night last night, right? They got zombie night tonight. They get it all. Okay, I'm confused.
We're going to have to review that.
Yeah. Juan Nicasio. That strikeout streak and last night after 33 in a row.
In character right there.
Oh, zombie night.
Very good.
Chris Bryant. One pitch, one out for Nicasio. And the pitching change works. They get the out. Time to stretch. 7-4 Pirates. Switchfoot coming to stage AE on October 12th. Here tonight, Pirates with a 3-run lead.
Pedro Strop coming on to work in his 53rd game. ERA 2.76. Opponent's batting average 1.63.
The other part of that Jake Arrieta trade from Baltimore.
45 innings, 59 strikeouts.
And just like that,
we knew that
was hit with a pitch.
That was done by design. Both benches warned.
A shrug of the shoulders by Sean Rodriguez.
Sean knows that had a chance of happening, puts the bat down. It's like he expected it. So that's for hitting Addison Russell. Now, was hitting Addison Russell intentional? I can't figure out why. You think it would be?
Well, Joyce hit in the 4th, but I never know when to guess on some of this stuff.
Right, I don't either, and I've been involved in it.
The other day with A.J. Cole, that was as obvious as could be. Jaso having a night. Having a night. It sticks in the wall. Jaso, go for 3. Keep going. Go for the cycle. Get there. He's in a 3rd. And John Jaso, if that's awarded a triple, he has hit for the cycle. That is a cycle for John Jaso.
How about that? Way to go, John. Congratulations. A rare feat. And he hesitated at second base, and everybody that's in this ballpark was saying, go, go. Darryl Ward did it 12 years ago.
First cycle you've ever seen here at PNC Park. How about John Jaso?
And this ball was tattooed after Rodriguez gets hit. How about that? There's that little separation that wedges there. There's just enough room so they keep the padded wall away from hitting the ball, hitting the dirt.
John Jaso has driven in 5 runs tonight and is hit for the cycle, and he's all right for 2. Wait a minute, no.
Yep, a night he won't forget.
And then when that ball gets away, I'm not going anywhere.
How about the ball wedging between the bottom of the padding and the dirt?
Meant to be. And there's the authenticator.
Along with 50 other things that have been authenticated tonight, but that's the legit one.
First cycle and PNC Park history.
Great stuff, John. Congratulations.
Well, that is why you come to the ballpark. Right after the Pirates eliminated from the postseason, doesn't matter. Have you ever seen a cycle before? Well, tonight you have. And a 5 RBI night. Jaso driving in a run, making it 8-4. Freeze down on strikes for the first out. So the last time the Pirates hit for a cycle, it was Darryl Ward. And back at Busch Stadium 2. No sleeves for Mr. Ward.
Yeah, the old throwback uniforms. That one off Steve Klein, left-hander. To top it off. You got a real good memory. Jason Kendall did it previous to Darryl Ward.
Well, how about John Jaso really finishing the season strong, tying a career best with those 5 runs batted in, getting his 3rd triple of the year. Well, how many times you hear the phrase triple short of a cycle?
Yeah.
It almost becomes annoying because you go, well, when is a guy going to get a triple, really? And then you see the ball stick in the wall and you're thinking, wait a minute, this could happen.
We talk about so many different surfaces that the ball can bounce away different ways, especially in right field against the scoreboard, different support, posts, some involve the chicken wire fence, and just you never talk about that little wedge, and it's a line all around the bottom of the padding where the ball can stick. It's just enough to grab the baseball. Just enough for a baseball to wedge.
Play by Russell with the infield drawn in, and that keeps Jaso at 3rd. Look at some tweets here.
Yeah.
John Jaso with the cycle. This is not a drill.
Almost a oh my, who does that from San Diego?
Dick Enberg.
Dick Enberg. Oh my. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cubs with a pitching change. Hector Rondon coming on. Buccos doubling up the Cubs. And a special night for John Jaso as he's hitting for the cycle. And single in the second inning, the home run. But the Pirates.
He's going to hit a double here, probably.
Yes.
And now,
he needs a triple.
Yeah.
How do you get a triple?
Get a wedgie. Yeah. A little hesitation just for flavor, for the ambiance.
Kept us all in suspense. And Jaso with that 3-base hit, completing the cycle, the first for the Pirates in more than 12 years. So for John Jaso, he's caught a perfect game and now is hit for a cycle. An eventful baseball career. Alan Hansen pinch hitting. Facing Hector Rondon.
53rd appearance. 49 innings, 57 strikeouts. They can bring some heat out of that bullpen.
Getting word that Chris Coughlin left the game with a mild left ankle sprain, which makes sense. His cleats got caught in that padded fence and left, trying to make a catch earlier tonight. And there's the remnants.
W.B. Mason just tearing up some outfielders. Polanco face planting. Not painting, face planting.
Hansen is out. John Jaso tonight with a cycle and his first career 4-hit game, and the Pirates lead 8-4. We start the 8th, and the family divided. Still together tonight, watching John Jaso hit for the cycle. And having some fun with Jaso's hair. Riding the reins.
That's a great thrill.
What a special night. Jaso has caught a perfect game in his career. He's hit for the cycle now. And a nice finish to this season.
Rivero coming out to try to protect the lead, put a lid on this thing. Pirates looking for 6 outs to get a win. They're hard to come by recently, to say the least.
Munenori Kawasaki, the second baseman. Pitcher spot due up next. And then Hayward in the Cubs' 8th inning. A little uprising last inning with 3 across. Felipe Rivero, the 5th Pirates pitcher. Two and two. Rivero trying to rebound after a tough outing his last time around. Really his only tough outing, major tough outing, is a Pirate. Prior to that 5 runs that he allowed 3 days ago against the Nationals. ERA sub-2 for the Buccos. It's Kawasaki to start the 8th. Look at our Bank of America League News alerts, and Freddie Freeman, also one of the guys who's hit a cycle for the cycle this year, extending his hitting streak to 30 games, longest in baseball this season. That's when you really start to take notice, when you get to that 30 number. That is really something. There's been 3 men to hit for the cycle this year: Freeman, John Jaso now, and Rajai Davis. Tim Fedorovich pinch hitting for Hector Rondon. Former Dodger. Last year was the catcher for the El Paso Chihuahuas. AAA Pacific Coast League champions this year. Pacific Coast League champions. Padre affiliate. And a pinch hit single for Fedorovich. That's the 3rd hit tonight for the Cubs. Got the home run by Rizzo in the 1st, the 2-run single by La Stella last inning. And now Fedorovich. Pirates out hitting the Cubs 11-3.
I'm pretty impressed with the stylish attire for Rivero, with the pants coming right down to white shoes. There's a flow there.
Look at that, yeah. Something out of Oakland in the 70s, maybe, right? Nice catch there by Frazier. And Hayward's liner, 2 gone. Eight for Buccos. And there's those white kicks from Rivero. I'm alluding to the A's of the early 70s, those championship teams. They'd wear the white shoes. Charlie Finley, the owner. They didn't have the pajama pants like they do today. And with the white tops, boy, that's a sleek look.
I'll tell you, you might find an outfit like that down on one of the drivers at the Meadows. They kind of have those long pants down on the white shoes. And those harness drivers, Natalie attired.
Down the line, Joyce with a look-see.
I'll tell you, down at the Meadows, Dave Pallone, who's a driver that you're probably not familiar with, can wear about anything he wants to. He's won more races than we can possibly count. He's ranked nationally in terms of what he has accomplished career-wise. Great record established. Dave Pallone, one of the best.
Never been to the racetrack. You have to go down there, not too far from the house.
They also have a casino attached.
I've been there.
Yep.
Good axe there. Down the line now. Will this one stay fair? Or I mean in play, I should say. That's out of play by plenty. Did he get the ball? I don't know who's happier, the guy that got the ball or the guy next to him.
Oh.
So happy for you, man.
Yeah. No, that's what happened when zombies come back to life.
You didn't even catch the ball. Rivero thought he had strike 3. So did we. Very close. Where was this one, Steve?
Just a bit inside, maybe.
Oh, by a pixel.
You'll get a call on that every once in a while. As a pitcher, you hope to every once in a while get that call. We had a charity race down at the Meadows one time. Jim Leland and myself and Elroy Face, and they put us with these sulkies, and I had to drive, and the name of my horse was Whistling Billy. And they say, all you got to do is whistle. And we got off last, and I whistled at Billy for 1.5 miles. we didn't get much action. I was whistling my head off.
Look at the easy out there. Hit the man left for Chicago. Pirates try to add to their lead against Aroldis Chapman. Final homestand and this series against the Cubs tomorrow evening, and Ivan Nova making his final start of the year. He'll be opposed by Rob Zastryzny, or Zastryzny. Join us starting at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason right here on Root Sports. Ivan Nova. Okay, got it. So in the second to last game of home campaign, Pirates with an 8-4 lead.
Is this a penultimate home game?
Yes.
So tomorrow's the ultimate.
That's the word that you taught me. Second to last, penultimate. Nice to face Aroldis Chapman when you're leading by 4.
Yeah. Interesting. He came in the game the other night was 12-2, and then didn't come in last. Well, you're talking about positioning, I guess, to give him some action when you decide to give him some action.
Yeah, I guess they've got the pitchers written on a calendar when they're going to pitch. It's been completely backward so far in the series how they pitched, but
I'm glad they didn't bring him in to hit Rodriguez.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean he throws too hard.
Average is over 100 miles an hour. Frazier 1 out of 3 tonight. Another chance to try to get a hit off a lefty. He's done that so well this year. And that's because his dad, Tim, is left-handed. And so he credits his dad all that batting practice growing up. Frazier had seen a lot of left-handed pitching. So he thinks that's why throughout the minor leagues and now here with the Pirates that he's been able to hit lefties so well. But this is dad.
Yeah, this is not the average lefty.
Yeah, Tim Frazier, Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis is the hardest throwing lefty by all accounts, and the hardest throwing in the game.
Used to like to watch Billy the Kid Wagner.
That was a hard throwing lefty.
Half Chapman's height, but he could get it to home plate in a hurry.
But Mean is a awakened snake out there. I mean, just I would not want to be standing in against Billy Wagner. That was a really good relief pitcher. Strike 3 call. Chapman can get you with the off-speed stuff too.
It's almost unfair when he throws an off-speed pitch because you got just be so geared to the heat.
Well, John Jaso hitting for the first cycle in PNC Park, so they've already taken the ball out of play to authenticate that. And I'm sure there'll be many more souvenirs. And probably after something like that, right? It goes, maybe a player gets something, the team gets something, maybe even out to I don't know if the Hall of Fame would keep something like that, but maybe in the case where you finished the 71 World Series. I mean, how did that? I mean, this is a different time. They didn't have hologram stickers back then, and a guy to put them on the items. But how does that all go when there's, down on the field when there's a big moment and there's stuff around that has to be shared? I guess.
Well, we're in a different era now. We're in a different era.
There's the barcodes.
There you go. Yeah, you got the. I mean, every once in a while you pick something up, whether it wasn't a mad dash to grab, the sunflower seeds off the floor or something. But I mean, it's a special occasion. But it's not the first time. I hit for the cycle with number 28. He wears number 28. Just took me 9 years.
Did you keep a ball or anything like that in the World Series game? Right?
I kept my glove.
Yeah.
I lost my hat. I don't know where the heck the hat went. It showed up somewhere because somebody acknowledged it a few years ago that they said, that's the hat. Okay.
Now, these days, everything kept very well monitored. Okay, you broke a bat. All right, let's put a sticker on it. All right, that is the bat that Pedro Florimon used in a game. Now he's going to get a new bat.
Is anybody doubting that that's authentic?
They can catalog it now, and all this stuff is. I mean, it used to be what? Throw it in the garbage. Right, a broken bat.
We burned broken bats in the early April games.
Yeah. Try to stay warm in the dugout.
Yeah, we had, oil barrel or something down there.
Tony Watson, like he will be on for the 9th.
My special thing was that the night before the day we left Forbes Field, the night before the last game, it was a doubleheader. The ball fouled away. I signed our rubberized on deck circle with a big Sharpie. I was going to steal it the next day and take it home. And got to the ballpark, it was gone. Now it hangs over the entrance to the theater in Cooperstown.
Wow.
With my name on the, so I made the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And when we shut down Three Rivers Stadium, I bought the doormat outside the offices.
Oh, that's funny.
I grabbed it. Another strikeout by Chapman.
At 103 miles an hour. eye-popping velocity.
But yeah, when we got back from the road trip, when they sold everything that they could out of Three River Stadium, I went down to pick up some stuff. Three River Stadium. I went down before they imploded it, and I grabbed. And the thing weighed a ton. It was one of those rubberized doormats to get in the offices, and I had it in my garage until we I don't know what I did with it. It weighed too much to move it. The people that bought the house probably still have it.
Now they know where it came from.
Yep.
I was told that by the people that we bought our house from that there's a couple of bricks from Three Rivers up in the hillside. So I better get a shovel.
Well, you know the bricks they have around the statues and stuff here. I bought one, and if you buy one for enough money, they give you another one to take home. So I had that outside my house and remembered after we sold it to take it, and it's down.
Oh, that's good.
Down in Florida now by the new house.
1-2 on a 104-mile-per-hour fastball by Chapman.
I mean, that is scary. I don't care who you are to stand in the batter's box with this.
And 103, and Chapman strikes out the side. But the Pirates have an 8-4 lead as they round third and head toward the ninth. Pirates lead 8-4. And I think that's Zach Tradinich.
Yeah, he's
on the left there.
Got those comp tickets. Yep, and yeah, Dad, can you get me and my buddies a couple good tickets?
Oh, going to see Jimmy T helping out his son and his buddies. Got some real pull. Tony Watson on for the night. Non-save situation for Watson. Rivera win a scoreless eighth. Pirates, if they can win tonight, 78 and 80, would take one game of this series with one more to play tomorrow. 4-game set. A chance to still have a winning record. And, you know, as Clint Hurdle said the other day, the Pirates won't be playing in the postseason. Winning record is better than not. And so that becomes the goal now. Win him out. And a really convincing performance against Jake Arrieta tonight. 7 runs against him. 3rd straight start. The Pirates have really peppered him. How about Jameson Taillon tonight?
Yeah, we thought he might be amped up, not only to get a major league start, but against Arrieta. And yeah, I think he showed up nicely. And that man showed up nicely.
Jaso hitting for the cycle. First time he's had 4 hits in a game. Driving in 5 runs tonight. It just goes to show, you know, and I say this all the time, but I love coming out, and I know you love coming out. We love coming out to the games and seeing what happens. And I know this year has not been the overall result that everyone wanted, but when you tune on a baseball game or you come out to the ballpark, fun things can happen, and tonight they sure have.
Never know what you're going to see. Right on the inside corner for Tony to get the first out here in the 9th inning. Seems like a long time since we've played an 8.5 inning game.
The Pirates have had a tough go of it at home. The last 3 homestands.
Friday night.
The Pirates 4-17 on their last 3 homestands, so haven't seen that a lot. You're right. And a chance to finish strong. Watson ahead of Contreras, 0-2. The Pirates in the season series against the Cubs. They're trying to improve upon that. It has been mostly Cubs this year. Well to center. And Contreras with a 1-out double here in the 9th inning. Doubles for the Cubs rookie catcher. Pirates with 12 hits. That was just the 4th hit for the Cubs. La Stella had 1, a 2-run single in the 7th. You hold the Cubs to 4 hits. That's where it ends up. Most of the regulars in there today. McCutchen coming on. There's the 2nd out. The Pirates an out away from victory. Zombie Parrot, the Renegades. Even a hot dog. Call your friends. Matt Caesar in there against Watson. And strike 1.
Beat 'em Bucks, old-time slogan.
2 strikes. A strike away from victory. And how fitting. John Jaso will end it. Only the second man ever to catch a perfect game, and now to hit for the cycle. What a night for him, and for the Buccos, who win 8-4.
Feels good, doesn't it? A win.
And the only other man to achieve that feat, Ray Schalk, catching a perfect game and hitting for the cycle. And Jaso got to be proud. 5 RBIs tonight, and a career best 4 hits.
Well, it feels good, and it's got to feel good for Jaso and Jameson Taillon. It just feels good to win a baseball game and see the Bucs come out on top. So try to do it again tomorrow night and head toward a winning season at this point. That's the current goal.
It's still in sight as the Pirates win it tonight 8-4, and it's time for the post-game show. Let's go out to Robin Teague.
Joe and Steve, thanks very much. Teague, just nice to get a win. Snap the 4-game losing streak. Maybe as the Jolly Roger gets raised here at PNC Park, we can see a lot more of this against the Cubs next year. The Cubs have had the Pirates number this year, but maybe sending a little bit of a message that the Pirates will be back next year.
A little bit of a message to the Cubs and a little bit of a message to yourself that, you know, okay, you're eliminated yesterday, but yet you're still going to come out and play good baseball today. Obviously, it was very good baseball. Taillon and Jaso leading the way, but yeah, this was a good win for the Pirates to get. There's always that natural tendency to let down when that one, you know, your main goal has now gone away. Good to see the guys come out and be able to play as well as they did tonight.
And what a great game for John Jaso, who is standing by with Robbie Inspikowski.
Yeah, what a night it was for John Jaso. Hits for the first cycle in the history of PNC Park. John, your first year as a Bucco, you're going to be remembered forever with the history of this ballpark. What does that mean to you?
It's something important. I mean, these guys came after me during the offseason, and you know, work really hard and contribute as much as I possibly can. Just want to give it 100% every day, and you know, I just have to say thank you to the organization, GM, manager, for giving me this opportunity.
So you are the second person ever to catch a perfect game and hit for the cycle. Might surprise a few people. Again, a part of history. What might come to mind when you look back on your baseball career and nights like this that were able to happen?
You know, those are great achievements, and they seem individual, but you know, you really have to hand it a lot to the team that you're with, and all these guys that I play with, the guys that were around in the clubhouse, they're all very genuine people, and I mean, they just keep your spirits up, and so a lot of it goes to them, and it's great playing for them. It's great playing for the fans here, and thank you guys for coming out. We'll see you again tomorrow, and I also have to mention Mr. Taillon, because he had a great start today, and it was a great day for a young prospect to end the season like that.
Certainly was. Now let's discuss the final hit, the triple. You hit a ball, it gets caught at the bottom of the center field wall. What are you thinking as you're rounding second, you see the ball headed towards second base?
Keep going. I don't know. I mean, if it got stuck under there, it's almost like it was meant to be. You know, so I just kept going, and I think stuff happens like that for you if you just keep being aggressive and just keep towing that line of aggressiveness and being smart. So all that stuff kind of comes together for you.
So you get the ball, you have the final out ball right there. Are you planning on keeping any of this memorabilia? Anything come to mind immediately?
I mean, yeah, I guess they got the triple ball out there. This one, I mean, is for a fan somewhere up here.
How about that? Oh,
there we go.
Drop, but that's good. Well, John, congratulations on a great night.
All right, thank you guys.
What a night for John Jaso and the Buccos. Rob, how about that? The first cycle in the history of PNC Park.
Robbie, thanks very much. The last time it was Gary Ward, right? The last Pirate to do that, the Ward Cycle Shop. Darryl Ward and his dad performing that. Gary Ward, I think they both hit for the cycle, so that was fun stuff. Darryl Ward back in the day, John Jaso today, the first ever in the history of PNC Park, and of course that is Miller time, just as we promised you earlier in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. It was a single in the first, it was a home run in the fourth, that was followed by a double in the fifth, and then that triple that got stuck at the bottom of the wall in the seventh. Jaso with 5 RBIs to go along with his cycle, powering the Pirates to the 8-4 victory. Well, fun to get a win for the Pirates. They snapped the 4-game losing streak. Coming up on Pirates postgame presented by the Allegheny Health Network, we will have complete highlights of this 8-4 victory over the Chicago Cubs. More on the cycle of John Jaso and the outstanding rookie season of Jamison Tylen, which concluded tonight with another fine outing. Highlights from around the league. We'll check back in with Joe and Steve and much more coming up next on Pirates Postgame, presented by the Allegheny Health Network.